Hi, you guys. Hi, it's me. I was looking at my channel. It's been a while, so I'm actually really gonna try and get back into this. I am really thinking about the mission again. I just love the mission, guys. I think I'll talk about it for the rest of my life. It really is just, I returned missionary today in my ward. She said it was like a kickstart to like the rest of your life or whatever happens after the mission, and I totally agree. That is totally what it is. So to those who aren't sure what I'm talking about when I say mission, a few videos ago I explained exactly what that means. So you can go watch that if you're curious about what a missionary does in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So if this is your first time watching one of these, hello, I'm Carissa. Let's be friends. Let's have a good time. Talk about Christ. Returned missionaries, so missionaries that come home, they finish their mission, they come home. They've got me thinking about the mish. They got me reminiscent again. So my cousin, cute cousin Brielle, just got back, I think last week-ish, week and a half ago. And then this returned missionary in my ward, and just like, I just got thinking about it, and I'm just like, where am I spiritually? How am I doing? Like when I imagine myself coming home from the mission, you know, and I miss it. I miss it. I was talking to my husband a little bit ago just about how I miss that girl who was so bold, so firm in her testimony, so without fear to talk about whatever the Spirit told me to anybody. I just miss it. I want to be that girl again. That's what I've been feeling, and that kind of has sparked this video, because I know a lot of people have not served missions, or maybe you're of another faith that doesn't do those, and you're just trying to find your way, you know, trying to get some spiritual momentum. And I just kind of want to talk about that, because I feel like I've been inspired today and kind of prompted to talk about a few things. So let's go. Just a little life update if anybody is curious. Archie's almost 1. I don't know how that happened. I don't know. I think about it every day. I don't know. He's the best. He's walking. I mean, he takes steps throughout the day. He likes to crawl mostly still, but still takes steps. Austin's in finals. Hopefully those all go well. I'm sure they will. And I'm chilling, stay-at-home mom, trying not to buy everything at Hobby Lobby. And we're chilling. We're getting in the Christmas spirit, as you can see our little tree over there. And we're great. We're excited to come home for Christmas break. So let's jump into President Nelson's talk. There's a few parts I wanted to get into. If you have not heard about Inklings, you need to look into it. I'm sure it's where you are. It's basically a groups that study General Conference talks. For those who don't know what General Conference is, it's where our living prophet and his apostles and other authorities in the church speak to us. They do it twice a year. So this most recent one was in October, and the prophet, yes, the prophet of God spoke. And his name is Russell M. Nelson. And I wanted to kind of dive into a few things that he said, because I know we love the scriptures of ancient prophets, and of course we love those teachings, but I know that God needs us to hear things that pertain specifically to our day as well. So what the prophet of God says goes. Like, that is from God. I know that. I know it. His talk was all about overcoming the world. And that's kind of a confusing term or phrase, at least for me to understand. So he kind of helped break that down of what that means. Overcoming the temptation, that was right, to care more about the things of this world than the things of God. It means being willing to give away even our favorite sins. That phrase, favorite sins, is interesting, because I think when we think of sin, we think of murdering someone or committing adultery, or those are more like serious sins. And so I feel like this was a very interesting choice of words the prophet chose. What are our favorite sins? Interesting. Just a phrase to think about. That is a way to overcome the world. Then he goes on to say that our problems won't evaporate when we follow Christ and we start to overcome the world, or try and be more like Christ and maybe stop doing some things that maybe are holding us back. So he says our problems won't evaporate when we do that. They won't go away, but your resistance to sin will increase. Resistance to sin. I want that. I'm hoping this all ties in, that this message makes sense, because I know right now you're seeing a glimpse into my head. Scattered. Scatterbrain. Lots of things. Usually it comes together though, so hang in there. Yes. On my mission, I just was on top of the world. I was just great. I was so close to Christ, feeling so good about myself, right? Then you come home and it's great. You're with your family again. You don't see them, or I guess you FaceTime them, but in person, you're not with them for 1.5 years. Your friends, you don't see, for that whole time, 1.5 years or 2 years. So it's kind of like this adrenaline rush for a little bit. And you're like, oh, I can sleep in, and I can hang out with friends, and I don't have to go walk in the street all day. And you're kind of like, at least for me, I was like, woohoo, I'm pumped. Like, I get to relax, finally do what I want. Not all these mission rules and things we had to follow. And then it slowly doesn't feel that great. It slowly you feel a little bit further away maybe to Christ, and your vision starts to get shrouded, I feel like, by the distractions of the world, by work, by school, by clothes, jewelry, hair. What do I look like? Oh, who am I gonna go on dates with? Gets married, has a baby, moves away. It gets distracting very quickly. Whereas on the mission, you're very focused. And, especially for my cousin that just got home, I'm thinking, what advice would I give her, as a return missionary? And it's weird to think, because I feel like there's so much I wish I would have done, and I feel like I am in a good place. I'm so blessed. I'm married, I have a baby, I'm, feeling good, and we're blessed in so many ways. But spiritually, I feel like I could do better. And part of me feels, ashamed that I'm not perfect at things, truly, being totally honest. And it hurts my heart a little, because you don't want to disappoint your return missionary self, fresh off the mission, if that makes sense. So this analogy came to mind. An analogy that I kind of came into my mind on the mission, I think was from God to help me understand the concept of being refined. I love this concept of being refined. So we've heard about the refiner's fire. This is a little different. I like to picture it as us being a slab of clay. Ugly slab of clay. It's nothing. It's just gray, ugly clay. And it's nothing. It's just a slab, right? God is the sculptor. He's the artist that is going to make that clay into something that he envisions, right? And being the clay, us, it's gonna hurt when that sculptor starts to squeeze, cut off parts, you know, detail in things, poke us, take parts off, put parts on, cut things off. It's gonna be painful. It's going to be hard. We're gonna ask why we're hurting. Why is this happening? Why does that slab of clay look different than me? And I just got chills. I get chills when I think of that, because God is the sculptor. God is the artist, and we need to trust that he knows what he wants us to be. He is only, you know, allowing us to go through what we need to on this earth in our lives in order to become that vision. And I love it. That gives me so much clarity in when I'm in a hard time and I'm thinking, okay, like he's sculpting something right now, you know, something's got to give, something's got to come off. I've got to learn something here, because we're not perfect yet, right? We're not going to be perfect here, and we're here to be perfected. I'm perfeccionado, I almost said. We're here to learn, we're here to grow and stretch, and it does hurt. It's hard, but we need to trust the Lord. One more thing I wanted to share is not to forget when we're in those hard times, to remember why we are where we are, what choices we have felt previously in our lives that have led us here today. I wanted to share a few things. Sorry this video's a little longer, but you know, I hope you watch the whole thing. First thing is me moving to Kentucky and having a baby out here. Honestly, moving out here first was just party. Me and Austin were like, woohoo, married life, out on our own, you know. It was so fun, and I still love it out here, but having a baby, it has been very, very hard to not be by my family. I've talked about this before, especially my mom. I always imagined she'd be here with me. She's not, she's far. It's just how it is, right? And there have been many days I've been like, why am I out here? Why am I so far? And then I remember how strongly I felt that this was the right place for us to come for Austin's dental school. And we cannot forget those experiences, because sometimes that's the only thing where you're like, okay, there's a reason. Like, this is good. I'm in the right place. Even if it's hard, it's still right. One other experience real quick. My mom, she went back to nursing school. She went back to school when my littlest brother was little. And she felt so strongly, I remember, to go back to school. And it was so hard. She stayed up all hours of the night studying. She had 4 children, you know, and a husband to take care of. Bless your heart, Mom. We love you. And like, that was very hard for her, but she knew, she felt like she needed to do it. And now, you know, she's expressed it's hard because she feels like my little brothers maybe have a different childhood because she's a working mom now. So it's harder for her to feel like she's doing all of her mom duties because she's also working, which she's doing an amazing job. But again, we can't forget, you know, I felt like this is what I needed to do, so let's keep going, you know. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's not right. These are some things that I've just been learning and that I felt like I should share. I hope these all connect. I hope this makes sense. That it's okay if we're in a hard time, in a hard place, and we're struggling a little bit. Just remember, God's just sculpting you. You're just being made more beautiful today. And you're going to be better for it. I loved my mission. I love being a wife. I love being a mom, even though, you know, all of those things are hard sometimes. I know I'm in the right place. And I love you. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.